Today we are moving on to using parallel and transversals to prove lines are parallel. Last class we talked about the four different types of angle pair relationships: corresponding, alternate interior, alternate exterior, and consecutive interior angles. So today we're going to learn how to prove lines are parallel by using these four relationships. In this example, alternate exterior angles are always congruent. Same with alternate interior angles and corresponding angles. Those are always going to all be congruent. Consecutive interior angles are going to be supplementary. They're going to add up to 180. In example 1, 115 and x plus 5 are alternate exterior angles. And we know that alternate exterior angles are congruent because I just told you. So to solve for x, we have x plus 5 and we set it equal to 115 because we know that they're congruent. We solve for x and we get x equals 110. In this picture, it tells us that angle 1 is 105 degrees. Using that information, we can find all the other angles in this picture based on 1 being 105 degrees. Angle 4 is also going to be 105 degrees because they're vertical angles. Angle 5 will also be 105 degrees because they're corresponding angles. And angle 8 is also 105 because they are alternate exterior angles. Example B says that 3 is 68 degrees and measure of angle 8 is 2x plus 4. This one's a little bit trickier. 3 and 8 have no relationship, but 3 and 7 are corresponding angles. So if 8 is 105 degrees, we know that 7 and 8 form a linear pair. So if we know that 8 is 2x plus 4 and 7 is 68 degrees because it corresponds with 3, we can do 2x plus 4 plus 68 is equal to 180. So we set them equal to 180 and we solve and we get the measure of angle 1 in example B to be 112 degrees. In this example, example 3, 3x plus 5 and 65 are corresponding angles. Whenever we have corresponding angles, they are congruent. Okay, and we know that lines are parallel because if the corresponding angles are congruent. So 3x plus 5 equals 65. We solve and we get x equals 20. This one again, these two angles are corresponding. 135 is equal to x minus 30 because of corresponding angles. We solve and we get x equals 165. This angle pair is alternate exterior. Alternate exterior we know to be congruent. 5y plus 6 equals 121. We solve and we get y equals 23. Remember, the four different pairs can prove that lines are parallel. So in example 6 it asks, can we prove that these lines are parallel, and we need to explain why or why not. In example A, it tells us the marked angles are alternate exterior angles, so that means that yes, they are parallel because the alternate exterior angles are congruent, so they are going to be parallel. In example B, we have two corresponding angles marked congruent, so therefore we can conclude that yes, those two also will be parallel. Example 7. These are again our alternate exterior angles, so we set them up as so. X equals 180 minus x. We solve, we get 2x equals 180, we divide by 2 and we get x equals 90. In example B, these are alternate interior angles. Again, we set them equal to each other. 2x plus 20 equals 3x. We solve and we get x equals 20. Now find the value of each variable. Try these problems on your own. Let's go back to example 5. And here, if you notice, we have consecutive interior angles. Consecutive interior angles are the only one that's different than the other three, as they are supplementary. So 5x minus 10 plus 75 is going to equal 180 degrees. That's different than the other three, which are congruent. So those you would set equal to each other.